Welcome to UDC Foundation's Week of Giving. Today, we have the pleasure of hearing from this awesome lineup with regards to the university's land grant mission. It is an honor to be the land grant university here in the District of Columbia, a responsibility that we take seriously here in Firebird Nation, and you're going to learn much more about it. I want to thank everyone who has participated in the Week of Giving each night, tuning in and donating. Your contributions are life-changing, it's heartfelt, and it's very much appreciated. We will have a wrap-up tomorrow night, and you will receive that email. It will be posted on our social media and UDC's website, where we will recap the week and also talk to you about other programs and initiatives where you can make an impact, where you can provide hope. But tonight, the focus is on the College of Agriculture, Urban Sustainability, and Environmental Sciences. At this time, I'd like to turn everything over to the awesome Dean of Causes, Dr. Dwayne Jones.
Thank you for the kind introduction, and it's a pleasure to meet everyone. My name is Dwayne Jones, and I'm the Acting Dean of the College of Agriculture, Urban Sustainability, and Environmental Sciences, your College of Agriculture in the district. Do you know we're the only one? We're the only College of Agriculture in the District of Columbia. I have the privilege of teaching classes here on campus, and invariably at the start of the semester, I will ask my students, what were your thoughts of DC before you moved to DC, for those that moved here? And of course, our students mention politics, they mention some of the seat of power being here, they mention some of the buildings, etc. But they very rarely, if ever, mention agriculture. They never say, we thought of agriculture in Washington, DC. But that's what we do here in the College of Agriculture. We have agricultural programs, we have urban sustainability programs, and we have environmentally focused programs. And so I'll share a little bit about our college with you and our history and what Fo mentioned when she said our land grant mission. We have a land grant mission. And so once again, this is the College of Agriculture, Urban Sustainability, and Environmental Sciences, better known as causes. I think you all see in full screen, right? Are you seeing? Okay, thank you. And I'll give you a context of our world, and then I'll bring it back into our role here as a college. As of 2008, more people now live in cities in the world than in any other part of the world. And basically, more people live in cities than outside of cities. And so this trend towards urbanization, which is what we call it, is expected to continue for the foreseeable future. The United States has been urban for quite some time. And so this gives us a unique environment, because if you take a look at the graphic on your screen, you will see the growth of the United States, or in the United States, from the 1700s on until the late 2000s, or at least the most recent years of 2000. And you'll see in the dark areas of the screen that there is a heavy concentration of people along the East Coast, number one, but also you'll see there is a heavy concentration of people in the urban areas. In other words, more people are continuing to move into an urban environment because that's where the jobs are in many cases. That's where some of the amenities are that some of the populations are looking for, that they're looking for in areas where they can make a living, establish a lifestyle. And this trend continues, so much so that by the year 2050, we expect 2 billion people more on the earth, 2 billion people more. So what does that mean? This gives us a very unique environment, a very unique context here in Washington, D.C. as the nation's capital, but also as a city or capital in where the entire community is urban. It's all city. We don't have any rural areas of D.C. We don't have any large areas of agriculture. We don't have 10,000 acres of potatoes, or 20,000 acres or 2 million acres in some places of some of the commodity crops like corn. And so I'm going to fast forward through this slide because it keeps going, but you get the idea. It gives us a very unique environment here in Washington, D.C., where we are divided into 8 wards, of course, but many of you know that there are disparities within the wards. For example, here where UDC is located, the University of the District of Columbia, the average annual income is somewhere around $260,000 a year and increasing. But in Ward 7, where we have many of our projects, including East Capitol Urban Farm, you can see there's quite a difference between the income in Washington, D.C. Ward 3 and Washington, D.C. Ward 7. And so what does this mean for us? It means that the Wards 7, maybe 8, often have higher unemployment rates. They often have the highest degree of individuals without a degree, without a bachelor's degree. We also see there that's where many of the health complications are that we seek to address. And we see our university positioned here. Foe mentioned that the University of the District of Columbia, and specifically housed in causes, we have land grant programs. What that means is, back in the 1800s, former President Abraham Lincoln had the idea that education should be accessible to all people, not just people that could afford to pay tuition to get a degree. And it really wasn't his idea. The idea actually came from someone named Morrill, Morrill. And so Morrill had been seeking to get a bill passed to start land grant universities in each state in the nation as it existed at that time. And so the purpose of these land grant institutions would be to take non-degree, non-credit bearing education from that institution out into the public. So think of these institutions as a hub of activity for teaching, learning, where students could get a degree, but they could also venture out and offer programs to their community. And their community depends on where they are. And so back in those days in the 1800s, the nation was agrarian, meaning that the nation was agricultural, primarily agricultural. So these land grant institutions were to teach skills in farming. And the nation was also growing. And so these programs also included mechanical arts, engineering, and military arts. And so from that founding, we have a map of land grant universities across the nation. You see the dots in red. Those are the first, or the 1862, founded by the first act, 1862 land grant institutions. And then you have these in the Southeast. These are primarily in the Southeast. These are primarily African-American HBCUs, serving institutions. We call them 1890s. And then we have here primarily Native American serving institutions. These institutions are all funded additional funding by the United States Department of Agriculture to offer programs into its public. And almost all these institutions have agriculture in their history. And upon the founding of our college, we asked the question, how do we go back to our roots? How do we integrate our roots as an agricultural college into this nation's capital of Washington, D.C.? And how do we do it in a way that is unique and that addresses the populations that we work with from wards 1 through 8, but primarily with the focus in many cases on wards 7 and 8, where some of our lower wealth minority populations live, and how do we do it in a way that we provide entrepreneurship opportunities, economic opportunities, social opportunities, and environmental improvements, and do it all under the banner of the University of the District of Columbia. We have a unique designation here because if you look at this map, we're the only college in the nation, the only land grant university in the nation that has a completely urban environment. It's all city here. The other institutions have rural environments. If you look at some of the more commonly known, well-known institutions, the University of California over on the left side of your screen, or we have Penn State. We have North Carolina A&T, which retains its original nomenclature, agricultural and technical engineering in that case. They all have rural areas as part of their territory in terms of teaching and learning. We in DC, it's all urban. And how do we design an urban environment and urban programs to address this population in agriculture in Washington, D.C., and do it through our students and through our programs. And so we have a very unique structure. I won't take too much time to share what the structure is, but on the right side of the screen, we have the academic program. So a student can get a degree in architecture and nutrition, health education, nursing, and urban sustainability, all the way up to a doctoral degree in urban leadership and entrepreneurship. And then you have these land grant centers that have the task of taking education from this institution into the public. So you will find us in churches, synagogues, community centers, offering workshops virtually all day, every day, to help the audience to build a skill, and a skill that is relevant to our mission as a land grant institution. Many times, and you'll learn today, that we offer programs in your community, to your students, to your children and grandchildren, in agriculture, in urban sustainability, in nutrition and dietetics. We're in schools teaching our young children how to eat properly and healthy. We're in places of worship, teaching individuals how to engage urban sustainability and how to lower their water bills and utility bills. These are some of the activities of our college. And you'll see us with these projects all over the district. And so we have aquaponics and hydroponics projects. So what is an aquaponics project? An aquaponics project is, think of it as a larger fish tank. We actually raise fish in tanks, and we feed the fish. The fish feed the food, basically the produce. And in small greenhouses all over the district, we can grow food year round in a small space in your community. We offer a farmer's market. We offer kitchen incubators, so that you can actually start a business in the food space, do it with a low overhead, and do it with training and support through the University of the District of Columbia. And these types of programs are offered to any resident of the District of Columbia. Anyone can participate in these. These are not just for academic students. Did you all know, or do you know, that we also have a food truck? And so we have a food truck that is in and around wards in the district, offering samples of our food, offering cooking classes and the like, all throughout the district. All of this is what your funding supports, by building an environment where our students can grow and develop, and do it in a way that we become the college of the future that helps to serve not only the residents of the District of Columbia, but also those of the nation and of the world, which is part of our mission. And one of our premier projects I'll share rather quickly is East Capitol Urban Farm, located in Ward 7 of the District of Columbia. So the Southern Avenue is the Maryland line. This is the Capitol Heights Metro stop, or a picture of. And at the time we designed East Capitol Urban Farm, Walmart was under construction across the street, but Walmart later pulled out of the project. And so we leased the land from the DC Housing Authority, and we constructed a model urban farm. What this model urban farm does is it offers growing opportunities. And so each of these spaces you see is a gardening space where any resident of Ward 7 can get access to that space for free. And we provide seeds, plants, and teach them how to grow food, how to grow it efficiently and effectively, where it's nutritious, healthy, and delicious, and they can do it all virtually in their backyard. It has walking trails throughout. It has an aquaponic system, and what that means is we built the Capitol, but we ask and we train people in the neighborhoods to learn to maintain the system, so that they can become a leaseholder of the system. And so it's a huge opportunity, not just for residents of the District of Columbia, but also our students are part of these projects, where they learn to build these projects. They learn to design, to construct, to maintain these projects. And we have students that take their knowledge and go back to where they came from, their communities, be it DC or internationally or nationally, and they use the knowledge gained here to build their areas. Like Nigeria, I was just in a meeting today with some students that are actually in Nigeria, and some that are in Ghana, and some that are in Senegal, that are actually using knowledge that we give them to help build their communities in and around the world. That's what your funding supports, and that's what we're asking for here. And here are some brief pictures of East Capitol Urban Farm, and how we are using these types of projects, which is a representative project, to help build your community, your children's your grandchildren, our students, and the next generation of innovative thinkers to address these challenges primarily in urban environments. And so that gives you an overview of the College of Agriculture, Urban Sustainability, and Environmental Sciences, sort of the big picture. And so in summary, what we ask of you is to support this wonderful college, continue to support our students and support the work that we're doing here as a population, and know that your dollars are not only supporting students in the District of Columbia and at the University of the District of Columbia, but your funding also supports people in and around your communities, in your neighborhood, and around the world. And at this time, I'll turn it over to my colleague in the Center for Sustainable Development and Resilience, Dr. Cameron Zindendale. Thank you for your support of causes.
Thank you, Dr. Jones, and I'm very happy to be part of a team, a great team here. My name is Cameron Zindendale, and I'm the acting director of the Center for Sustainable Development and Resilience. I have been with UDC and the center and the college since 2014. I'm very proud to be a part of a very talented team and to have the pleasure of working with our community and working with the student to make sure that we can produce the next generation of our leaders, next generation of our thinkers, and next generation of our innovators and entrepreneurs. So I have a PowerPoint that I would like to share with you. Let me share my screen quickly. Give me 1 second. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great. So very quick, as Dr. Jones explained, the college is the home for the land grant, is a home for the land grant responsibility of UDC, and we are leading that responsibility. So I am leading one of the center, one of the 4 center within the college, which we have the extension responsibility or working with community. So I am very happy that I'm working with a very talented team that we have expertise around all components of sustainability, social component, environmental component, economic component. And we have very talented people that they are very excited to work with you and teach a student and also work with our community. So before moving on, I want to clarify something. All of us has in the center, we have 3 responsibilities. We have academic classes that we need to teach. We have community engagement part, and we have research. So when I hire somebody, this is my message to the new person that we have, and all of us are following the same path here in our center. So research is the main focus, but this one with one difference. We do applied research. It means that we work with community to identify their problems and then turn those problems to a research question. Do research, look for funding, and then come back with solution and turn those solutions to extension work, to community engagement work, to workshop and training. And then all of that experience will be transferred through our academic classes. We are very happy that we have the capacity to engage our students in real case scenarios. When we talk about sustainability, for example, one of the courses that I teach is Intro to Environmental Science. I have the pleasure to engage my student in the native plant nursery that we have, in urban forestry research that we have, and we are doing on a community compost project that I am leading with my colleagues here in the center. So in this way, they understand when we talk about food waste management, when we talk about sustainable urban agriculture, sustainable food production, entrepreneurship, and job creation. So we are very proud that we do applied research, not just for publication. Of course, we want to publish, but we also want to make sure that we solve a community problem. So the mission of the center is in line with what Dr. Jones explained as a mission of causes. We focus on sustainable infrastructure, sustainable spaces, urban economics, and entrepreneurship. This is very important for us. So what we do, we make sure that we try to make sure that we focus on job creation, solving a problem at the same time, taking into account the creation of job. Because if we want to make UDC a path to the middle class, this is what UDC president defined for all of us. If we want to do that, there's the only way that you need to build a practical path through engaging our community and students to UDC, expose them to what we do, and make sure that they have skills that they can find job and make money. So that is something that we do. We focus on behavioral and social changes, and also we do youth development. That is an important component that we focus to make sure that we engage youth. This is our future. This is the really investment that we want to do, and we are very happy that we are working with many schools in DC to expose them to sustainability, STEM, urban food production, green infrastructure. Today, I joined one of the schools in DC. I presented them about climate change. I had 120 excited students that they were following me virtually. That was very exciting, that much that I promised them that I will come back and talk about sustainable DC plan as a response to climate change. So some of the selected research, why I'm going to talk a little bit about this very quickly, because I want to make sure that if you're ready to donate, to support us, this is what we are going to do with your money, with your fund, with your support. So we do research. Dr. Jones explained about the farmers market. We do research on farmers market, how farmers market is helping community health, diet, and economy. So that is something that we actively do. I just finished, I work with a team of research in my center, and we finished a research here to see that how we can expand farmers market in low-income community. We do sustainable campus-related sustainability research. How much the student, community, faculty, staff learning from our sustainability project. So this is something that we would like to make sure that the university, the only public university in the nation's capital, can expose community, student, faculty, and staff to sustainability matter. We do a lot of research around green infrastructure. We just finished research on productive green roof and how that can really help cities and promote healthy diet and sustainability in cities. We do collaborate with many universities. This is one of the mission that we have in the college and in the center. This is just one example. I have plenty of examples. This is a recent collaboration that we started with George Mason University, working on flood in lower areas in DC. The focus of this research will be on Ward 7 and 8, building a database around the Potomac River. I'm sorry, that will be around Anacostia, I'm sorry. Another great research that we are doing in Firebird Farm that I'm sure that my colleague Elizabeth talked about that is a triple yield research. How can we use technology to promote food production, sustainable food production in limited spaces that we have in urban areas? So this is a system that we use solar panel that collect, not only generate electricity, also provide a little bit of shade that helps some of the crops that we can grow under. And even this is a new technology that also enable us to, for light to penetrate through and also, help the plant to grow. And also we have a rainwater collection system that enable us to minimize our water consumption. And this is the research that we are doing at East Capitol. We are promoting food production in our community by establishing community garden. At the same time, we are doing research how we can minimize water pollution. So this is another important work that we are doing. Green infrastructure training program. Maybe you heard about that. The main focus of our green infrastructure training program is underemployed and unemployed people in DC. As you know that in DC, there are plenty of sustainability projects that are happening. So our aim is that the workforce that need to install, inspect, and maintain this green infrastructure come from DC. So that only DC resident can join this program every year, between 30 to 45. During the last 3-4 years, we had graduation, training and certified people from this program. Many of them found full-time or part-time program in different sustainability projects. We're also focusing on gentrification. There is a huge problem in DC. We want to understand that how we can minimize gentrification, how we can, as we are promoting sustainability project, at the same time, how can we minimize gentrification impact of those projects? So there's a long list of extension and research work that we are doing. I just listed some of them here: National Green Infrastructure Training Certification Program, Community Compost Training, Farmers Market, Master Naturalist Program, to make sure that you are exposed to your, and you gain enough knowledge about your nature and how you can help your nature, UDC Native Plant Nursery, Food Recovery Market Analysis, Entrepreneurship and Workforce Development, Youth and Teacher Development Project. And the one recent one that is not here listed here is a new partnership that we have with PEPCO to enable the city to shrink and minimize the food desert areas that we are facing. So it's a huge challenge, and we are trying to see that how we can help the city to minimize and provide our great citizens with quality food that they deserve. So this was my presentation. I will pass it to my colleague Jay Axon. Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. And Jay, are you ready to share what
I am ready. I am ready and ready to go. So hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for being a part of the UDC Firebird community. And I would just like to say a couple of things right now. I am the Director of Urban Ag and Gardening Education for the University of District of Columbia. My group, my well-founded and tight-knit group, what we do is we deal with the food and nutritional security research and teaching applications for the District of Columbia, teaching people how to grow more food, teaching people how to grow better food. We do a lot of this. We really have 5 farms. There's a large 142-acre farm in Beltsville, Maryland, which we grow food year-round. There's a picture here in the hoop house. We also have a farm on campus, which Cameron talked about, the urban food hub farm with hydroponics and aquaponics there, and also a green roof, which produces food. And also we have our site over at Bertie Backus, and there's the PR Harris site, so where they have aquaponics and hydroponics. So I'm excited to be part of that. And I tell you, one of the most important things that I'm really excited about is this. I am a 3rd-generation Washingtonian. My family came to Washington, D.C. in 1917 from Alabama and settled in D.C. and grew food in the Deanwood area. So to be able to give something back to the my constituents of the District of Columbia is an overwhelming kind of feeling that I get to be able to do that. And so that is one of the things we do. We grow food and we teach people how to grow food. If I would have told you 2 years ago that everybody would be walking around with one of these on, and probably maybe more than 250,000 people would have died from a virus, you would have probably looked at me like I had been watching too many science fiction movies. But here we are, we're here. And one of the conscious decisions that myself and some of the other people made at UDC was to, we had 2 choices: to either continue farming as usual during the pandemic, or close down shop and hide away from the virus. We chose the former. We chose to really keep food production going on. And we did suffer a little bit because sometimes we did have we had a good volunteer basis that would come to the farm and other food hubs and really help us produce some of the food. So we just had to get it buckle down and get tight as far as what we were doing and keep producing food. And I'm glad that we did, because when I started to see, driving around places in DC and Maryland, when I started to see these very long lines of people waiting hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours for food, I knew we had made the right decision and to really get food out. So we also made a conscious decision to really focus on 2 wards of the city which were very food insecure. So we focused on Ward 7, which we donated a huge amount of money, food to Jones Memorial Baptist Church and other groups too. And also we started to donate a huge amount of food to Martha's Table. So that was a very good decision, especially on the part of some of the people at the university, President Mason, Dr. Potter, Dean Jones, and other folks had a good insight, and they had the wherewithal and the trust in our group to really keep things going during the pandemic. So this was a huge opportunity. And I foresee now in the future, we are going to have to really just add sometimes supplemental food for folks in the District of Columbia. Because unfortunately, you know, this just is where we've come. There will be, after the pandemic is over, there will still be many people still unemployed and really looking for assistance. So we are very happy to do this. We've done it greatly. We produced probably over about 10,000 pounds and gave that out to the community in 2020. So I appreciate the help. I appreciate the confidence that the university has in me and my group. And I appreciate all the alumni folks for really kind of sticking in and maybe hopefully donating so we can do more and do a better job. We have to really kind of build our platform to really produce more food. And one of the things my specialty is as an agronomist is not just to produce more food sometimes, but to produce better food. So I really focus on increasing the nutrient density of certain crops and just getting good nutritious crops out, because we see that the pandemic really highlights people's immune systems and things of that nature. So we're going to really look at producing certain types of vegetables and certain types of crops which maybe have the ability to boost immunity and things like that. So that will be a novel thing that we're doing. One of the other things I need to mention is that the students at UDC, the tremendous work that they're doing. We have a student food pantry where quite a bit of the food that we grow at the farm and at the food hubs, some of the food hubs, and also hopefully starting this year, later on this year, growing food up on the green roof, which will add food to the students who are food insecure. So all of these things that we look to do, we need your help in doing these things. We appreciate it. And I would just like to thank you in advance for your help and your love that you would show us. And I would like to yield the rest of my time to Dr. McCrary.
Thank you, Jay. And so, Dr. McCrary, if I may, so research is helping us to advance into the next generation. It's helping us to move forward. And we've asked Dr. McCrary to join us, our Vice President for Research and Graduate Programs, to show you what we are doing as an emerging research institution. And so, Dr. McCrary, thank you for helping to lead this charge into advanced causes in the university into the next generation.
Thank you, Dean Jones, and I appreciate all your help and the support. And I want to also thank all the UDC alumni out there, because we are becoming the district's premier public urban land grant emerging research HBCU. And I just want to tell you, you've heard about all of the great research that is happening in causes. And I just wanted to show you what's happening across the university and how all the schools are working together. So the next slide, please. So you've heard the theme. You know, the District of Columbia governments, we are their research laboratory. They have tons of data on everything from educating students in STEM to growing crops in urban environments, to rodent infestation, to energy. But with that data, you've got to validate and verify it. And so you can see our research theme is urban sustainability and resiliency. No coincidence, you've heard it before. And we are here to solve those problems. And I couldn't say it better than what Dean Jones has said, because in about 30 years, 75% of the world's population will be in urban environments. And those are unique problems. And so the district comes to us to help solve those problems. Next slide. So as you can see, when President Mason came in 2015, we put together a strategy called the Equity Imperative for the overall university of where we're going to be. And part of that was to develop an Office of University Research. And the indicator was by 2022 to have 50 million in funded research. Next slide. As you can see, last year we did 43 million. So in the past 2 years, we have increased our awarded amount of research. We've increased the dollar value of proposals that were submitted. And it's not the number of proposals, because as you see, the number has somewhat gone down, but the dollar value is going up, which means we're sending in bigger proposals, which are being funded for our research. Next slide. And these just show the totals, over the past decade, and you see the upward trend over the past 3 years in terms of both submissions and awards. Next slide. So our faculty are really doing good, and this is just to show where we stand with the other research intensive HBCUs. So there are 11 HBCUs, which are Carnegie classified as R2. That means research activity, high activity. And as you can see, while we're classified as an M2, as a master's institution, we are on the cusp within the next year or two of becoming a doctoral research university, because now they're going to start counting professional degrees like JDs. And so we have plenty of those as a law school, MDs, PDs, and we have PhD programs. One of them kicked off in causes. And so we'll start seeing that class. But as you can see, in FY19, we had close to 5 million in research expenditures, close to $1 million in NSF expenditures. Our endowment is healthy with the other schools. So we're right in the mix. Next slide. And also we, as part of that group of distinguished HBCUs, which are seen as research intensive, UDC is one of 15 ABET accredited engineering HBCUs. Just to give you perspective, these schools are 3% of the engineering schools across the nation, but they produce 30% of the Black engineers at the undergraduate level. Next slide. And so we've put together an internal research council that represents all the schools and colleges. And the purpose of this council is not only to see how we can administer research better, but also how the ideas that we can work across. So one of the things that is coming up is digital agriculture. And so you can see, for example, how causes can work with the School of Engineering, as well as what's the finance and policy side of agriculture. So that's where the School of Business and the law school would come in. Next slide. We also have an outstanding external research advisory panel of experts from across the country. And this is a list of them here. What's important about that is they help us in 3 areas. One, they make sure that what we're teaching and what we're doing in research is aligned with what's going on in the rest of the country and the world. So if we're serving apple juice and the country is looking at orange juice, they're going to tell us, look, you better start growing some orange trees. But also they can advise us on best practices for research administration, how we can do things in terms of grants and contracts, benchmark our activities against other schools. But moreover, these people are big influencers within their own spheres of influence and their circles. And one of the things they can do is they can take back and say, hey, look, did you know what Causes is doing? Did you know they had a 143-acre farm? Did you know they're doing research in aquaponics? By the way, UDC is also doing research in advanced materials, and so they can go out and advertise the great gems of what we're doing in terms of research and innovation. Next slide. And we've just recently had 4 awards here, totaling almost somewhere in quarter of $15 million. You can see with the National Institutes of Standards, NSF, NASA, Department of Energy. Our Dean of Engineering this year, 3 weeks ago at the annual Black Engineer of the Year Awards Conference, received the outstanding dean of all those 15 institutions you saw prior, because of all the centers that UDC has. In terms of right now, we are one of the top producing research HBCUs per capita of any HBCU in those 15 that you saw. Next slide, please. Also, we are doing things working with the community. We have the Center for Biomechanical Rehabilitation, where we deal with folks who are stroke survivors, TBI. They can come in, we can do virtual reality and put sensors on them, look at how they walk. And basically what we're doing is applying engineering principles to clinical diagnostics. Next slide, please. And partnerships are extremely important. So we have partnered with ARL Penn State. As you know, Penn State is also a land grant to provide opportunities for student internships, both hiring our students and joint faculty research. Also, ARL works with DoD, so we've expanded our DoD portfolio. Next slide. Working also, we are bringing in experts. So this is our external advisory committee. Again, having outside experts verify and look at some of the great research that we're doing here at UDC. Next slide. We're also out there. So we are being asked to talk about our research. So you see Dr. Laura Thompson, who's in charge of the Biomechanical Center in the lower left-hand corner. We've gone to the National Institute of Standards, the Office of Naval Research. People are talking everywhere about UDC and our presence in the research community. Next slide. And this is our Vice President for Advancement, Rodney Trapp, who participated in the BEA conference talking about how it's very important to give for philanthropic contributions to HBCUs, because not only we're teaching institutions, but we research. And we can only unlock that research and help our faculty with your donations. And this is Dr. Tiagi here, who was one of our faculty awardees in 2020. Next slide. We're also getting notice from the Department of Defense. And by the way, the Department of Defense is also involved in growing food because they worry about food security and how can we grow food abroad. So we are working with DARPA, IARPA, the intelligence community. Next slide. And if you just hit the tab, it's a build. Just click, please. And so we just got awarded $300K to basically be a center of cybersecurity excellence, as well as in the previous slide on DoD work, we've received over $500K to set up research in chatbots and machine learning. This is all about artificial intelligence, which I'm sure you've heard a lot about, but also artificial intelligence is going to cover everything, including farming and agriculture going forward. Next slide. And then again, working with the Navy. So we've signed educational partnerships. Next slide. And even in our community college, so UDC is unique. We have a community college, 4-year school, engineering school, graduate school, law school. So quantum information is one of the, what they call the industries of tomorrow that the Biden administration is supporting. And we are one of the first community colleges to be teaching those workers who are coming out to understand quantum information systems. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. And also our faculty is being recognized. This is Dr. Bushra Saeed, who was just recognized in the Women of Color Technology Awards for her leadership in a mortuary science and nursing program. So again, we've had over 5 faculty members in the past 2 years recognized for their research excellence here at UDC. Next slide. And as well as we give lunchtime learning seminars. So this looks like an eye chart maybe to you all, but we have had renowned speakers from DARPA, National Science Foundation, Air Force Office of Scientific Research, come in and tell us about some of the projects that they're looking to fund and how they can use the expertise of our faculty and students. Next slide. And also, with all the research, you also spin out a little bit about technology commercializations and inventions, but also this is overall UDC's impact to the District of Columbia. So we bring something like $406 million in total economic impact in terms of both direct and indirect contributions and wage premiums. Another way of putting this is for every dollar that the District of Columbia government gives us, we give them $4 back. Next slide, please. And so our students are our future, our nation's future, because right now the National Science Board has come out and said that we need to develop diverse domestic STEM talent if we're going to take on the global competition that threatens us. And so we are becoming DC's preeminent public urban land grant emerging university. Next slide. And then and how we're doing it is working with a program here called DAWN, which is Developing Americans Workforce Now. And this is working in the public schools and taking these students up and giving them the STEM skills so that they can go on and be business ready talent. Next slide. And this just shows another side of that okay, in terms of bringing talent, because quite frankly, the United States realizes we have to use everybody, black, black, brown, white. You can't win because right now we're up against the New York Yankees and we need a Jackie Robinson moment. You cannot win with 30% of the talent on the bench. Next slide. And so UDC is a force for good in the world. You can see our community service and engagement. The previous speakers have talked about us in terms of our urban research and the outreach we're doing in the different wards of the city, particularly the wards where there are the greatest disparities. We offer the greatest hope for those folks there. Next slide. And so thank you, and please, please give to causes and give to the University of the District of Columbia and support our research efforts.
Thank you so much, Dr. McCrary, Dr. Zinendale, Dean Jones, and the celebrity agronomist, Che Axum. That's that's the title I gave Che some years ago. We were planning a conference here at UDC, and I received this phone call, and people were like, "We need to hear from Che." And so I'm sorry, it's just gonna stick. The work that you do, it's impactful. All that you do, every last one of you, and you guys know I'm genuine when I talk about you, and I talk about the things that you do on the alumni Facebook page. I posted my 2018 video from the work we were doing in Ward 8 at the Congress Heights Senior Wellness Center. We had permission to deliver all the fresh produce from that urban food hub to seniors in Ward 8. We've come to learn that senior hunger is not just an epidemic east of the river, but this pandemic has put a spotlight on senior hunger across all 8 wards. The Forest Hill community where the Van Ness campus resides, they're grappling with senior hunger. And this is one of our most affluent neighborhoods. The work that Causes is doing, it is impactful, it's relevant. Just think about it. In a pandemic, we still have to eat. We still have to eat. And I'm so very proud of the work that's going on at Firebird Farm. I had flashed on the screen Causes a food truck that you see throughout the city delivering food. And then you heard from Dr. McCrary, all the awesome research that we're doing. This research, we pull our students into these research programs. Imagine, if you will, you're matriculating through this great institution, you get an opportunity to write papers before you leave. You're vetted by the best here. And that's an opportunity that comes to you from this public institution of higher education, the only public institution in a sea of private schools in the District of Columbia. And can I just add, we are affordable. We are affordable. We are providing district residents, we're providing anyone who comes to our door. We don't have the privilege of turning anyone away. We take you where you are. Be it you're starting with a GED and you want to progress to a PhD and a law degree. We are here for you. And again, we are affordable. At this time, I'm going to turn this over to our VP for University Advancement, Mr. Rodney Trapp.
Thanks, Fo. I'm really excited about this evening. This has been an incredible week. As you know, this is our week of giving, and we decided to do something a little different this year. We decided to engage our various schools and colleges and designate a day where we would promote the colleges, but not only promote the colleges, promote fundraising and gifting specifically to that particular college. So all the funds that are raised today will go to the College of Agriculture, Urban Sustainability, and Environmental Sciences. We have the Dean's Opportunity Fund, and that means that the funds will go where the need is most. Now, you've heard about all the incredible programs and initiatives that are going on. We also have research. We also have students that need funding for projects that they're working on. Some get accepted to conferences and they don't have the funds to travel to the conference or to afford lodging at the conference. So small things that are not captured in tuition are not captured in a student's scholarship. These are the things that this particular fund supports. Now, Dwayne doesn't brag a lot about, he talks a lot about the programs, but he doesn't do the bragging that I'm going to do about causes. Did you know that we have a professional master's, science master's degree program, and we're one of the few HBCUs in the region that have that particular degree program. It's a special degree program that is focused on training scientists / practitioners within agriculture, within urban sustainability. And we have one of those programs here. We also have a nationally accredited architectural program with a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. We have a nationally accredited nursing program. And so these are all the things that are available here. Within the nursing program, we have about 7 or 8, I believe, Dr. Jones, different scholarships for the nursing program. We have the Olinder Foundation Robert Cadeau Memorial Scholarship. We have the Alva Loma Alsobrook Endowment Fund. We have the John Word Scholarship Fund. These are a few of the scholarship funds that have been established by donors who have looked at the university. They may be alumni of the university, or they may be individuals who've had some connection as a faculty member or the relative of a loved one, and they decided to donate a scholarship in that person's honor. Dr. McCrary talked about the university being a place where the district comes to help us solve urban problems. Well, not only is the district coming to us, he also indicated that governmental agencies are coming to us to help them solve problems. Not only that, you have corporate America is now beginning to come to us to solve corporate problems. I just finished up a 2-day conference on an area called ESG, that's Environment, Social Governance. These issues are at the forefront of every corporate board in America. They're looking at environmental issues. They're looking at sustainability issues, environmental risk management. These are compliance issues that are at the top of the agenda, and they have to work on this. We're at the forefront. They come to us, to help them do the assessments, to figure out, are they in compliance or not? Looking at social issues, green entrepreneurship, helping folks in Ward 8 to establish new entrepreneurial businesses. That's part of the work, that's part of the ESG lens. And again, we're at the forefront of those conversations. So I ask you, please consider supporting this particular college, the causes. And I can't say enough about this program. I mean, this is one of our leading edge schools and colleges, and I hope you'll support it and ask others to support it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Trapp. And thank you to everyone who has donated tonight. Your opportunity to give, it's still here, it's still available. We're doing this up until Saturday at 12:59 p.m., 59 seconds. You'll definitely hear more from us. This has been an incredible evening. I've learned so much, and I thought I knew all there was to know about causes. I've learned a great deal. Publicly, I'd like to say to Dean Jones and his team, thank you for everything that you're doing for residents in the District of Columbia, how you're cultivating the next generation of leaders. I appreciate just this next generation of agronomists that we are training. And it's not just we're in soil. That's something I don't know if that was mentioned. We're using the technology of agriculture in real time. We have other land grants that come to us to ask us how we do it. We have a partnership with Tuskegee University where we're showing them how we deliver urban agriculture. So there's some great things happening here. I placed in the chat causes URL. Please go to their homepage and see the academic programs, see what they're doing on the land grant side. This is an honor that the University of the District of Columbia, we are the land grant university here in DC. That's not a distinction of no other institution. That is ours. We own it. And so please, as you heard tonight, all the great programs, please support the College of Agriculture, Urban Sustainability, and Environmental Sciences. Your support is appreciated. Your support goes a very long way. Your support is not only seen, but it's felt. When you donate, you help a student stay enrolled and stay encouraged. When Mr. Trapp gets those requests for assistance, I can't tell you how awesome it feels when we're able to step up and we're able to assist, because you have taken on the challenge, you've taken up the challenge, and you're helping us. No donation is too small. No donation is too small, because everything adds up. Now, the goal tonight is $10,000, and we're hoping you'll help us not just meet that goal, but help us exceed that goal. Please contact fellow alumni, contact your friends and family. Again, no donation is too small. So before we end tonight's fundraiser, I'd like to ask Dean Jones, do you have any closing remarks that you would like to say to folks viewing tonight?
Oh, thank you very much. And thank you to you and your team for coordinating this. I just want to tell everyone, thank you in advance. You heard the stats from Dr. McCrary that your dollar gives a return of investment of 4 to 1. I don't know of any bank in this nation where I can go and put in money and get a return on my investment for 4 to 1. But here at Causes, here at UDC, your return as studied is 4 to 1. And so we want to thank you in advance for supporting our students, supporting scholarships, internships, supporting the next generation, but also supporting the current generation that we have. We have programs from, we say from 3 to 93 plus. And so you are supporting your community and you're supporting us. So thank you in advance. And thank you to the team for presenting as well. Cameron and Che and Dr. McCrary and Rodney and Fo, we want to thank you all for your support of our college and continue to do the great work that we do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining us. Please continue to stay safe. We're going to do this again tomorrow. So everyone who's been hanging in there with us, expect some emails. But we really appreciate everyone who's been with us this entire week, every donation. Again, if you go to Causes homepage, the opportunity to give is there. And if you go on UDC Foundation's homepage, click on our impact, the opportunity is available there as well. Have a great evening, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Bye. Thank you.